First, let us follow the travels of Abraham during his era to establish the location of Mount Moriah, where, later, Solomon would construct his temple. The Book of Jubilees states that Ur was founded in 1688 Anno Mundi, year of the world, by Ur, son of Kesed, presumably the offspring of Arphaxad, adding that in this same year wars began on earth. And Ur, the son of Kesed, built the city of Ara of the Chaldees and called its name after his own name and the name of his father, i.e. Ur-Kasdim. Jubilees 11:3. So we find that the most likely place of Abraham's birth and early formative youth was in Ur-Kasdim, a city-state in Sumero-Acadia, on the coast of the Persian Gulf in its time, founded during the Ubaid period, 5,800 years ago or so, on the south shore of the southernmost Euphrates River, modern-day Iraq. We are told in Seder Olam that Abraham was the firstborn son of Terah, and the Talmud infers the date of Abraham's birth to have occurred in 1948 Anno Mundi, circa 1813 BC. While in Ur-Kasdim, according to rabbinical tradition and Zohar, as well as in Muslim Quran, where Terah is called Azar, Abraham, then called Abram, quarreled with his father Terah, an idolatrous priest, according to Midrash Haggadol, whom owned a shop selling graven images of the Sumerian pantheon. According to Rabbi Ahia in Genesis Rabbah, Terah left Abram to mind the store while he departed. A woman came with a plate full of flour and asked Abram to offer it to the idols. Abram then took a stick, broke the idols, and put the stick in the largest idol's hand. When Terah returned, he demanded that Abram explain what he'd done. Abram told his father that the idols fought among themselves, and the largest broke the others with the stick. "Why do you make sport of me?" Terah cried. "Do they have any knowledge?" Abram replied, "Listen to what you're saying." The Tanakh, in Genesis 11, explains to us how Abraham, then still called Abram, left Ur-Kasdim with his wife and half-sister Sarai, his brother Nahor II, and his nephew Lot, and their patriarch Terah, and how the family altogether settled in the city of Haran, a Hurrian city in formerly Assyrian lands, presently called Turkey, far to the north of Sumero-Acadia, in modern-day Iraq. At the age of 205 years old, Terah, the family patriarch, died in the city of Haran. In Hebrew tradition, Abram left Haran prior to his father Terah's death. In Samaritan, Christian, and some Islamic traditions, Abram is said to have left Haran after Terah died. Abram left Haran with Sarai, his half-sister wife, and with Lot, his nephew, and they traveled to Shechem in Canaan, a land called now the Levant, and comprised of the Mediterranean coastal lands southward from Lebanon to the Egyptian Nile, and inland eastward to the Jordan River Valley. In Shechem, later the polity of Nablus, located in the Ephraim hill country between Mounts Ebal and Gerizim, near this Canaanite town, Shechem, Abram made his first sacrificial offering to his Lord God, specifically in the hilly Moreh plains south of Mount Tabor, among a grove of terebinth trees. It was here Abram built his first altar to his Lord God. Abram continued having visions of his Lord God, and his next experience has been recalled as Berith Bein Habarim, or the covenant of pieces or parts, wherein his vision promises Abraham his descendants will rise up to rule the lands then occupied by 10 different kingdoms, 400 years after Abram's own lifetime. This vision of his Lord God occurred to Abram on Mount Betarim, one of the peaks of Mount Dov, along the modern border of Lebanon and Syria, between Sheba in Lebanon and Masada in former Syria, modern-day occupied Golan Heights. According to modern documentary hypothesis, the references to this event in modern Tanakh vary due to there being a plurality of scribal sources in ancient times when the text was first recorded. One, the Jahwist scribe, always using the term Yahweh, meaning God. Another, the Elohist, always using the term Elohim, meaning my Lord, as well as priestly scribal colophons made along the way. In Genesis 12 and 15, Abram's Lord God offers these lands as an unconditional covenant with Abram and his descendants. But in Genesis 17, this covenant is amended to stipulate all his descendants be marked by Brit Malah, circumcision, a form of ritual genital mutilation to be performed on infant males. When Abram was 99 years old, his Lord God proclaimed Abram's name to then be Abraham, meaning father of many nations. In thanks for this event, Abraham circumcised himself and his firstborn son Ishmael, then aged 13, whom was born to their maidservant Hagar the Egyptian. When Abraham was aged 100 years, his second son was born, the firstborn to his half-sister wife Sarai, and circumcised on his 8th day following birth. When this son of Abraham and Sarai, named Isaac, meaning he will laugh, was around the age of 37, and Ishmael, presumably, was aged 51, Abraham exiled Ishmael and Hagar, attempted to sacrifice Isaac to his Lord God, and Sarai died, all in relatively rapid succession. Abraham, then aged 137 years, began a ritual, commemorated to this day, known as the Akedah, binding in Hebrew, of Isaac, or as the Dabi, slaughter in Arabic, of Ishmael, according to differing sources. According to the Hebrew Tanakh and the Christian Old Testament, Isaac was bound by his father Abraham, who was poised to make a living offering of his son to his Lord God, when all of a sudden a ram appeared and offered its throat to be cut instead of Abraham's sons. Probably simultaneously to this event, we are told Abraham cast out Ishmael and Hagar into the wilderness in Genesis 21, and they settled in the lands of Beersheba, where, according to Genesis 22, Abraham also later settled, and, according to Persian-era Muslim historical and theological scholar Abu Ja'far Muhammad ibn Jarir al-Tabari, writing in the early decades of the 8th century AD, Abraham continued to visit Ishmael and to give him paternal advice. According to legends recorded by Al-Tabari, Abraham gave the black stone to Ishmael to complete the construction of the Kaaba in Mecca, and personally implemented the original Hajj pilgrimage there himself. Sarai died, and Abraham subsequently married a concubine named Keturah, and sired by her 6 sons. Abraham died at age 175 years, and was buried, according to Genesis 25 and 1 Chronicles 1, by both his most favored sons, Isaac and Ishmael, together.